There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. That explains so much, though.
It does. Yeah. Well, so
I'm glad
now
we
that
hashed
we've
that out.
solved everything.
Yeah, I think we're good to go.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Thanks all for joining us.
well,
Oh,
thank
hey,
you.
welcome everybody here to the beginning of this live recording, not the end. Okay, people are saying things. I'm going to just make sure that the chat is working. Hello. People are making faces at us.
Yeah. Let us know that you see something.
Can you see us? Can you hear us? Is anyone out there?
Hello. Is there anybody out there?
It's nobody's birthday. You don't have to sing.
Are you on Discord?
Are you watching us online? Relax.
They can see us.
Do the whole thing. Can they see us?
They could see us.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's great. It's a blank wall.
It's a blank. I feel like you're lying. You could say kidding. That's basically the same as lying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Adam. Hey, Adam. I stole all of your food. I'm kidding.
Oh. That was not a very good joke.
Okay.
Yeah.
But was it... hey, Adam. I didn't slash your tires.
Did you slash my I don't know if you're telling the truth or not. All right. Well, I may or may not have slashed tires.
I'm just kidding around over here.
Are you kidding around slashing my tires though too? Because that's
Not right now.
Still okay. All right. Hey, welcome to everybody new to the Discord. A lot of new faces since last time.
Bunch of new folks. Welcome, greetings. We are thrilled to have you here. This is hopefully, actually I have no idea how many people we have watching, but hopefully a record number. I don't know. It's fun.
Yeah.
They always get way more views in the post, which is great.
Right, yeah, of course.
We do this for you, not for us.
Yeah.
For you. As opposed to most things we do, which is for us.
Yeah, most things are for us. Yeah. This one is for you. This one thing.
Oh, yes. Also, welcome to those who are not new faces. Welcome to those who are old faces, old, haggard, graying faces.
Yes. Well, they're still new to us.
You are still...
hopefully your
here.
being new to us gives you new life.
No, but I also mean the people that aren't new to us.
Oh.
Hello and welcome to them as well.
Then
To those elders of our community. To those who have been there with us from the very start.
the council.
In 2014, 15 when we announced the letters page.
Couple years
Yeah. Oh, boy.
Yeah. Well, welcome everybody. It's good to have you. It's good to be in touch with you.
Yes. Yes.
Out there.
Let's just get right into this.
Yeah, let's do it.
It'll be fun for us and hopefully for you. Welcome to the Sentinel Comics Bullpen. This is Editor's Note number 24.
Hello.
Hi, Adam.
How's it going?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm okay. Okay. Yeah.
Just okay?
Yeah. Early morning. Dog waking me up.
Oh, the dog.
Running in
the
here
dog is
barking.
really cute, though. It's really cute.
I was trying to be nice to him the last couple days.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is that difficult for you?
Yes.
It's a very nice dog.
No, he's always in everything.
It's a dog.
And like I'm trying to tie my shoes and he's pulling at them.
He's excited to be hanging out with you playing the shoestring game.
That's not a game to me. I just want to put my shoes on and leave. Like I just want to go.
You know what you do? You know what you do, Adam? Solve this whole problem.
Huh.
You get the Velcro shoes.
Yeah. Oh,
you get the shoes
I
with
used
the
to have Velcro shoes.
I know you did.
Yeah.
Your orthopedic Velcro shoes.
Yeah. Long time ago. It's been a while since that, but
so that's what you do. It solves the whole shoelace problem.
Or like pants. Like he tries to get my pants.
He tries to get your pants.
Like all the time. He just tries to get anything that's like the remotest bit dangly.
He's a dog.
Yeah, I know.
He's a dog doing the dog thing.
I know he is. I wish that he would do it just a little bit less. If he could just calm down, that would be the best.
All right. Well,
he's great when he's chill. Like he'll just like, especially if he gets cold, he'll just come up and like he's just like, oh, I need some body warmth. I'm just gonna sleep next to you.
You like the snuggly dog?
Yeah.
You don't like the excited playtime dog?
No, I have no interest in the excited playtime dog.
All right.
I'll take the snuggly dog any day.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's fair. I think you want a cat.
Yes. Well, I had a cat.
Yeah.
I still do.
Yes.
I still have a cat.
In the past, in ancient times, I had a cat.
And I
It's
still
still
do. It's
there.
still there.
What happened
But-
to it? I assume it's eating right now.
Right.
Maybe
Yeah.
sleeping.
I hardly ever see her because she's in the basement a lot now because of the dog.
She's hiding from the dog.
Because of the dog that my wife got
So you have a
to
dog.
drive the cat that I like off.
Yep, there you go.
Yes.
What you need, you know what you need?
What?
More cats.
No.
Once you have a veritable army of cats, the dog will be forced to stand down. It'll be like, oh no.
That's the other thing he barks at her and
Sure.
it's like, I don't like that
Right.
because it scares her.
Just bark back at it.
I don't know. She's still kind of my baby. She was her first pet. Like I like her.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Yeah. There's a war going on in my house.
Well, welcome once again to another exciting editor's note. We're going to do the usual things. We're going to tell you the schedule. We're going to answer some questions. But before we do those things, we need to talk about an announcement that we're
Yeah.
making, which is
Big announcement.
Yeah, it's about the 2018, the first annual Letters Page Podcast Awards.
Yeah. Let's give ourselves a hand
Yeah.
for thinking up that
Right.
idea.
Thank you. Thank you. Please, if you out there in Radioland are not clapping, if you could clap, that would...
Clap emojis in the Discord.
Yeah, there we
Let's do
go.
it.
That's what we need.
Let's see it.
We're not going to go on
Light it up.
until we have enough applause.
Light up
that we
the chat.
feel like, oh, you came up with this idea of just saying the name of your podcast and then putting awards after it.
Right.
And you deserve applause for that.
Hey, we got it though.
There we go. Thank you,
Yeah.
Brian. Thank you, Link Fox. Oh, there we go. Oh,
Look at all this.
Oh,
Flood of
man.
applause. Yeah, this is great. Thank you so much. Thank you. You're too kind.
Oh,
Yeah. No. So we are doing the these podcast awards that you, dear listener, can nominate things for.
I was going to say that you demanded or you asked for it. I was like, no, that's not
No.
true. Because no one asked for them.
No, we're
doing
bringing
podcast
you in on this.
awards. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
making you part of this exciting thing.
We don't want to just give ourselves awards.
Not that we wouldn't.
right.
We're not above that.
I certainly would never go to a trophy store and have something personally engraved.
Oh, Adam, I really wish right now you like, I'd never do that. And then you like bring a trophy up. But check out this trophy I got. All right. Okay, so what we're doing is we're doing an award thing because we're like, man, this year has been an exciting year. We've created a lot of cool content.
A lot of really disparate content also.
That's true.
Yeah.
But also a lot of it with the help of you, dear listeners. We could not have done it without you. The Patreon has been a great way for us to get direct input and feedback from you guys, both about the questions you're asking, of course, but also the topics and the ideas and the direction. And so I kind of want to look back on this year and be like, wow, look at all the things we accomplished this year. The beginning of this year, the very beginning of this year, was that like 1 week hiatus we did to start creating the Post-it note wall that became the Post-it note room that became the spreadsheet. And since then, I think that really helped this year become such a strong year for the Letters
I think
Page.
so too.
I think our episode quality has gotten much higher, and I hope that the people listening agree and are like, "Well, you guys sold
Quality of our
out."
information has
Yeah,
gotten
it's gotten way more ironed out.
Yeah.
So, so with that in mind, I'm going to tell you about the podcast. What we're going to do is essentially we're going to, during this very recording, during this live recording, I'm going to put a link in the Discord once we've explained it, so you're not just going in blind, to where you can do nominations. And the nominations are going to be open from now until December 17th. Monday, December 17th is the day before. No, that's not right. It's not that December 17th. It's up until, I need to change that in the description of the forum as well. It's not, the December 17th is the Monday before the editor's note goes live. It'll be the Thursday before that, the Thursday before we record that editor's note. So whatever that date is. I'll put it in the show notes for this episode, and I'll fix it in the forum. The forum currently says the 17th because it's the day before it goes live. It has to be the day before we record, because otherwise it doesn't work.
Right.
So that is what would be the deadline on when we are no longer accepting nominations. So it's going to be up for a month, though. There's a month of nomination time. Then we'll put up the nominations for you to vote on them around the time of next month's editor's note.
Yeah.
And so then you'll have a month to vote on those. And so then in January of 2019, so far from now, and yet so close, is when we'll do an editor's note and announce the winners of the 2018 first annual podcast Letters Page Awards.
Yeah.
All those words
nice.
in some order, who knows?
Yeah, so there's a form that has
Yes.
been created.
There's a Google form that currently has some incorrect information, but by the time that this episode goes live, by the time you hear this in audio, that information will be fixed to tell you when the date ends.
You fill it out, put your email in there.
Mm-hmm.
Don't fill it out twice because
Don't
it will cancel out your
Yes.
previous one.
Yes, only fill it out the
You
once.
can fill it out as many times as you want. You just will cancel out your previous one.
Yeah, and it won't overwrite it. It'll just make it so like, oh, this email address has submitted more than one response, so
Right.
it's going to delete all of them.
Right.
So yeah, and there's no like advantage to filling it out multiple times in terms of like nomination because like if something gets 7 nominations, it's not going to be ranked higher than something that gets 1 nomination.
Right.
So like just pick what you think is genuine, what you objectively think is the best in each of these 8 categories. 8 categories.
Yeah.
That we're going to talk to you about in a second. 8 awards, 2 categories. 2 categories.
2 categories.
8 awards.
The first category
Thank you.
is episodes.
Episodes. Are you saying that episodes of this podcast can win awards?
They can.
Oh man.
Each one. Yeah.
That's
so
amazing.
so we'll change the description on them to the award-winning episode.
Right? I mean, once these awards are completed, we will be an award-winning podcast.
Yeah.
Awards given out by
By
us,
us.
but nominated by you and voted on by you. It's all decided by you.
Yeah.
We're just setting the parameters.
What are the awards that can be given
There are
out?
4 episode awards, Adam.
Yeah.
4 episodes. I know this looks like 8, but you're just seeing double. It's only 4 episode awards.
Right.
So 4 episode awards, 4 episodes. The first of which is actually, I'm going to tell you them in the order of like prestige, and then we'll probably award them when we do our awards ceremony editor's note in reverse order from this.
Yeah.
Is my guess.
Probably.
Is that the whole list will just be reversed. Is my guess.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Probably.
Who knows?
No one.
Yeah. No one knows.
No one can know.
Yeah.
Anyway, the first one is best storytelling episode. Because, like, let's be real. It's what we're here to do. It's what we work hard on every week. And so this is the episode. And by the way, to be clear, these are 2018 episodes. These are not things that aired in 2017.
Yeah,
if you're like, oh my gosh, my favorite one is one that aired in 2017, it's not eligible.
Just the 50 or so episodes.
That came out this
Yeah.
year, right? And we will be, if these are a hit and people like them and we want to do them again, we will consider doing like a lifetime awards thing in the future, or maybe even do like sometime in the spring of next year, do a retrospective of
Anytime
2017.
we can give ourselves a claim.
Yeah,
Like,
more awards is more better. So yeah,
Best storytelling episode.
Best storytelling episode.
Which one did we do the best job communicating story to
Right.
you?
Which one is the storytelling most enjoyable, most
you
delightful?
involved in.
Exactly. Now with this, whenever you submit this in the nomination form, you'll need to give us the episode number and name. There's just a slot to fill out. Episode 93, which is the one we're recording. Just next, it's coming out next month. But maybe you think that's the best.
It maybe will be the best.
So
knows?
we realize that you won't be able to nominate episode 95. Episode 93 and 94 are still up for nominations because those are going to come out before we record editor's note number 25. But
episode 95 will be in the running for next year.
it's not even really that important because of the sort of episode that it is.
What if it's a great episode?
It's going to be a great episode, Adam.
Well, okay.
It's going to be a great episode.
So that just gets honorary awards
There
on
you
its
go.
own.
And then
We don't
episode
have-
95, this is the episode 95 award. Anyway, okay, so yeah, the first one is best storytelling episode. Second one, best audio production episode. This is an award as much for that episode as it is for Trevor. Because let's be real.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Trevor.
Yeah.
So good.
Which one did
So
he
strong.
do the best job?
Right. And so this is like, yeah, editing. He makes us sound way better, smarter, more put together, more eloquent than we actually are.
Faster,
Stronger.
stronger.
Yeah.
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 He does all that.
But there are certain episodes that he's really gone above and beyond. And I have some guesses as to which ones are going to get nominated after that, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Best audio production. Next one, funniest episode. The episode that made you chortle the most.
Yeah. Probably this one. We're very humorous.
Yeah, I mean, you could, with this, it doesn't just have to be episodes. You could
Please laugh.
You could nominate an extra-sode. You could nominate an editor's note. I don't think you can nominate an interlude because I don't think we did any of those this year. I think interludes are a part of the past.
Did we not do any interludes?
I think
this
the
year?
interludes are all in 2017.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe they're all from the 90s. There was a comic book this week that I was looking at. I was talking to some people that were here in the
Yeah.
office working on things. And I was like, they're like, well, what year did that comic book come out? I'm like, oh, I'm pretty sure it was like mid 90s.
Nope.
2001.
2001. Yep.
And then the fourth category, which may be my favorite.
Yeah.
I love this category.
I really want to know.
worst episode.
What is the episode that everyone's like, ugh?
And this is not the episode that is like, oh, you do a really good job telling the story, but the story, like, we don't like. We have some letters in this very editor's note spoilers about people not thrilled about in the animated verse episode that we did most recently, Setback.
Oh, Setback.
Right.
Yeah.
But like, did that make that episode the worst? Like, what is the episode that we did the worst job on? Or maybe the episode that Trevor did the worst job on? I don't know. What is the episode that you're like, that episode is bad, it's unlistenable, I hate it.
Yeah.
Worst episode.
I would never recommend this podcast to anybody.
Right. You're like, okay, here's the deal. I mean, this happens with decent TV shows or even like series of movies and things where you're like, hey, you should watch this or listen to this, but skip this one.
Yeah.
Just don't bother.
That's a filler episode.
Just skip it. It's bad. They do a bad job. Nominate our worst episode.
What's our worst one?
Let us know.
Do it.
Yeah. All right. Then on to the second category.
Yeah. Second category is questions. These are awards for you.
You, dear listener, are the people that wrote in these questions.
We didn't feel good about giving ourselves awards without giving you awards also.
If we're going to ostensibly give ourselves 4 awards, or really 3 if one of them's going to Trevor, even getting an award for our worst episode, we should at least give y'all a pittance of awards as well.
Yeah.
Just to be magnanimous.
Here you are.
So those awards, which we actually care about a lot, we're excited to hear what you think on those, because we have answers about what we think on these things, but we want to know what you think. These are your podcast awards. And so the first one is the most revealing question. The question that got the most out of us.
Which is the skimpiest question.
No.
That's what you're saying.
Yes.
Right?
The question the asking of that question made our tight-lipped the dam of answers breaks and the swell of information comes forth.
What did you get the most out of?
Yes, the deluge of answers. All right, so most revealing question. Next one is funniest question.
It's pretty self-explanatory.
And this can be the question that in of the writing of it is humorous, or in the writing inspires humor. Like either way, that the question itself creates the most humor, the most laughter. Saddest question. It's a question that evokes the most emotion, that is the most negative emotion, but like sorrow, melancholy.
Is sadness purely negative, though?
No, it isn't.
I don't think so.
It's important.
Yeah.
You got to be able to experience the
highs and the lows.
Right.
You can't be happy without being sad sometimes.
You got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them.
Right. You never be happy until you try.
Yeah, there you go. That's all right. And then the fourth category, I like the fourth award in both categories is the wild horse one.
Yeah.
Not dark horse, not wild card.
No.
Wild horse.
The wild horse.
The dark card.
That's a special thing for this.
It is the best fan theory question. The question in which you, dear listener, in your writing your question, go off on some tangent about, oh, we're excited about this and that and the other, and explaining a thing away, and we're like, all right, cool.
That's a cool theory.
And when we say best fan theory, we don't mean like ostensibly the goodest one, the one that like makes
the most accurate.
No, we mean the one that is like
interesting.
Yeah, the one that like nominate what you think what you're into.
Yeah.
And okay, so those are the categories. With those in the form, you'll need to give us a bit more information. You'll need to give us the episode number, the number of the episode that the question is from, the who asked the question in that episode, and then what was the question about. And you don't have to go, at length or anything. You give us some vague information about, oh, this is what that question covered.
Yeah, we have all those questions still.
Of course. But we need to go back and find them. Because also we're going to have like audio clips of each of those things. So
yeah.
And we will receive all those nominations, and then we will make a big old voting thing for all you fine people.
Great.
So
great.
All right. Let's see. What do we got here?
Well, let's do the schedule real quick. And then...
No, I need to give them the thing.
Oh, you're giving it to them now?
Yeah. I got to give them the thing. I said I would. Boop. 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 Il alimento. No, I don't think so.
Does Hey Show Perestroika count as a question?
Would you show Perestroika?
Did you post them on the thing? Yeah. We showed them.
Yeah, no,
you can go see it.
He knows. He's saying that question deserves an award for most revealing. Come on, Adam, keep up.
My
All right.
Yeah, no, your wild fan theories in the Discord don't get considered as questions.
Wow.
Sorry.
Wow, harsh. All right, here is the.
You have to
form.
actually submit them, and they have to be aired in an episode. There you go. That'll keep you busy. Yeah, we don't vote.
There you go. Okay. Alrighty.
Why damn it me?
Because you said that the fan theories in the Discord don't count.
That was like after the...
Yeah,
okay.
but you have to remember there's an audio delay.
all right. Fine.
Are you new to this?
Fraga asks, is there a nice condensed list of all the episodes somewhere? Yes, absolutely. On the wiki, there's a great list.
Yep.
And there's a lot of really awesome information
Yep.
on there. Sentinelswiki.com.
That is the website to go to.
Click letters page over on the side there. Hey,
I'll put that in
Avenger
the show notes as well.
of 20 Dire Things was nice enough to link that right in the Discord. There you go.
There you go.
Boom. As was Jay-Z. Simultaneous linkage. All right.
All right, so that's the first bit of business. Adam, what's the second bit of business today?
Second bit of business is to talk about the schedule.
It is the
I was
schedule.
going to try and make a joke, but we're
Yeah.
just going to talk about it. We've made so many jokes.
You know, new plan. No more jokes.
No more jokes.
Jokes are over.
Yeah.
Jokes are so 2018, and we're moving on. So.
We will be talking about the schedule.
Yes.
A jokeless, joyless schedule.
Here is the upcoming schedule. I'm sure there will be nothing that anyone will find any joy of any sort in the schedule.
No.
The first episode, Tuesday, December 4th, is episode number 93, which is Inversiverse Dark Watch.
Tuesday, December 11th is episode 94, Desperation Heroes of the Mission Deck.
This is the thing that you voted on that we were skeptical about because we're like, look, we're going to tell you about all the characters in the mission deck in their own episodes. Like we just talked a lot about Seraph in a very recent episode here. But no, you want an episode just about them. So we'll zoom in on them. Do that.
You got it.
It's fine.
You got it.
We give you what you want.
Yep.
Tuesday, December 18th, of course, is Editor's Note number 25, which will be about various and sundry things, and it will also announce the nominees for these awards, and then...
so then you can vote on them.
Yes, give you the ability to do your voting.
And then finally, Tuesday, December 25th, what a special day.
That's... it's Boxing Day Eve?
Boxing Day Eve.
Yeah.
Yes.
Boxing Day Eve.
It's episode 95, which is entitled Happy Holidays, Stories, Characters, and Merch.
Yeah. So
we're talking about
holiday stories from Sentinel Comics, but also some like other holiday nonsense that happened both in the world of Sentinel Comics and in the meta world of Sentinel Comics.
Yeah.
So fun stuff there.
Yeah. You get an episode on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of us?
We are going to stay up all night. We're like Santa.
We're gonna sneak into your homes.
Yeah, gonna put this in your podcast device
secretly. Yeah,
you're gonna come down your chimney.
You'll wake up,
put audio in your digital machines.
Yeah, there'll be just like iTunes non-gift cards.
Right.
It'll be like
just here's a free episode.
Link cards.
Well, we're just gonna put it on your phone. When you ever wonder how it gets to your phone or it gets to your computer. We sneak in and we put it there.
We sneak in and put it there.
Yeah. Working overtime.
We're like little elves.
Oh, boy. All right. So, and of course, we'll have a photo in the show notes of the calendar showing when those episodes air and when they get recorded.
Mm-hmm.
And with all that, let's go into questions. How are you doing?
Good.
Good. Yeah.
This coffee's too hot.
You want to open the top of it and like let it air?
I did for a while, but I'm gonna drink it, and I can't. I like drinking against the metal.
It's too hot.
It's too hot.
It's uncomfortable. Do you want to, you could pour cold water over the outside of the thermos, and that would not really affect the inside.
Like I can take little sips. I just wish that I could gulp it.
Yeah, you could pour it into a mug.
That's also not enjoyable.
Yeah, is little sips enjoyable? Are little sips enjoyable? They are. You're getting what you want here, just not what you need.
Yes.
It's forcing you to enjoy the coffee more.
You don't always get what you need when you try sometimes. Just might find you get what you want.
No.
That's...
You're... You've created a masterpiece, Adam. It's amazing. That's wonderful.
Yeah. Let's do some questions.
All right. Yeah. All right. My Discord keeps jumping all the way back up to the start of today.
This just in. A puppy saved a man from drowning.
Okay. All right.
We take it to you, Cliff.
All right. This first question. All right. The questions. We have various types of questions today for you. And the first chunk of questions is questions about Oblivion. We're still answering Oblivion questions. Here we are.
I imagine that in a way we'll always be answering questions about Oblivion.
We have always been answering questions. We have always been answering questions about Oblivion.
Yeah.
Since 2011, we've been answering questions about Oblivion, whether we knew it or not.
The entire thing was,
yeah.
Why does this happen?
There you go.
Yes.
Right. So. Oh, nice. Scroll to the bottom. Click another channel. Back. Thank you, Jay-Z. Thank you, Jay-Z. Hopefully that works for me. Every time I look over, like, what are the questions saying? I have to scroll all the way back down again. It's very annoying. I'm an old man. So the first question today is from Patrick. Patrick writes, Dear Christopher and Adam, last month Christopher said that Oblivion is destroying universes because he wants ultimate entropy. Now, in the Oblivion backstory, you guys referred to the fact that entropy increases... Now, in the Oblivion backstory, you guys referred to the fact that entropy increases in a thermodynamic... that entropy increases in a thermodynamic reaction. This is, of course, the second law of thermodynamics. Thus, you guys must be using the thermodynamic definition of entropy and not any others. Hold on now. Hold on. Before we go on, you, Patrick, saying definitionally that because we referenced once the thermodynamic law of entropy, that therefore the only definition that we're using of entropy is that one and none others? It's a little facetious. I think you're setting some goalposts at a different place than we necessarily were. I appreciate to what you're going to here, and I definitely appreciate this letter. But at the same time, this is I have to argue right off the bat with your definitions. Moving on to the rest of your letter. But in thermodynamics, Boltzmann's equation can be written as S equals K times ln, which is the natural log. Parentheses omega, where S is entropy and K is Boltzmann constant, and omega is the number of microstates in the macrostate you're examining. Adam, are you following? You got this? Have you been taking notes?
No.
Do you need a pen?
No. Would a pen do me any good?
Sure.
This is so far out of my depth.
Now, if we set the macrostate that we're examining to be the multiverse, the microstates are the individual universes or timelines. Cool?
I guess that much makes sense. So
Great.
Wait. Okay, yeah. All right. Okay.
Great. So, it's also true that in the realm of real numbers, the ln function, which is the natural log, is strictly increasing. That is to say, the higher a number, the higher its natural log is. The natural log of 1 is 0. 0 has no natural log.
I don't understand why he's talking about logs. And aren't all logs natural? They happen in the woods.
No, Adam. You've seen when you go into like a show house and there's like a fake, like a plastic or a ceramic log.
Yeah, all right.
You've seen unnatural logs.
That's true. I have.
Give Patrick a chance here.
Those like Duraflame ones.
Yeah. Shimmeraflame. Thus, by destroying timelines, Oblivion is in fact weakening the entropy of the multiverse, and eventually it becomes 0 and thus stops being a concept. So, Oblivion is not acting in the interest in furthering entropy. Why is he doing what he's doing? Yours in math, Patrick. All right, Patrick. So, like you said, your definitions aren't quite correct in terms of like, we're only dealing with entropy in the thermodynamic sense, but even still, Oblivion is not an entity of entropy alone.
Right.
Oblivion is the weird, cursed, scarred abomination that came out of a time unknowable war between the entity of entropy and the entity of preservation. And that final entity that came out of that was this nonsense thing that wanted the destruction of everything.
Yeah. He wants nothingness.
Right. So, that's why Oblivion is doing what he's doing. Thank you for your math, though, and for your question.
I'm confused still. Like my brain legit hurts from that. So
You got it?
yeah, oh boy. All right. Yeah, I'm just gonna read one from Chili Steak to like cleanse my mind of math.
Sure.
Math just I don't like it.
I really hope this next question is just all math all the way down.
Yeah,
it's just all numbers. There's no letters.
That's all it's
numbers all the way down.
I can't even read this. It's just like one of those movie blackboards where they're like trying to send a rocket around the moon or something like
People
that.
People just
like,
writing on it. And
and you're like, wow, this is pointless. Okay.
We'll skip that, like, the numbers one and go on to the next Chili Steak question.
2 Chili Steak. Yeah. Dearest Christopher and Adam, I know I missed the follow-up episode deadline, but I hope it isn't too late to ask extremely important questions about Oblivion. Specifically, I need to know why he didn't bring his full power to bear on the heroes of Earth. I need to know.
Oh boy, so this section I said was questions of Oblivion. It should have been nitpicks about why we did Oblivion the way we did and not some other way.
Right.
Carry on.
Yeah. Number 1, I recall that on a few occasions, villainous agents have destroyed entire planets in one fell swoop, like the Celestial Tribunal driving its sword into the heart of a planet and Hyperion blowing up one from the inside out. Those come to mind. Why didn't Oblivion simply follow their lead and destroy Earth from the safety of his Planet Crusher? I assume that he had one.
What Planet Crusher?
Yeah,
Oblivion doesn't have a Planet Crusher.
He's just
floating around.
Yeah.
So the question is,
a Planet Crusher.
Could Oblivion just reach out and destroy Earth? And the answer is sure, but that doesn't make it. So there's two answers. One, because this is a comic book fight that we're leading to for a long time, so you're going to have a big fight with heroes against villains. Okay, great.
Right.
The other answer, the in-universe, like less hand-wavy answer, is because if Oblivion just destroys Earth, that makes this timeline very different from others. That doesn't get closer.
It doesn't get any closer to his goal.
Right.
Which is unification of the timelines so that
they can destroy them all.
They destroy them, yeah.
It takes so much time and effort to go through and one by one
it's
destroy
very
every timeline.
meticulous.
Especially because every time you're destroying timelines, more are popping up here and there. You need to have a plan that wipes everything out simultaneously.
Right. Number 2. I also recall that Oblivion demonstrated that he had such an adept command of time and space that he plucked progeny out from a star across incredible lengths of time and space to fight for him. Why couldn't he pull such shenanigans when things became dicey for him in fighting the heroes? Oh, you're going to fire an orbital you're going to fire an orbital laser at me? Well, here's something very useful from somewhere else in time and space. Or he could have teleported elsewhere and avoided destruction. I just think, well, he could have used his powers more effectively.
All right, Chili Steak. Next time Oblivion's going to take over everything, we'll give Oblivion to you, and you can do the Oblivion thing.
Right.
And, like, tell Oblivion. So here's the deal. We did actually answer this in the episode, though, in the Oblivion episode, because that situation in which, A, he was going to be destroyed, and B, he was hit by an orbital laser, those things were one thing, that was when they took the fight to Insul Primalis, and Harpy was using all of her magic stuff to essentially lock down Insul Primalis, so he was stuck there.
Yeah.
So the point was they knew that. The heroes were aware that, like, when Oblivion was confident.
Also, I don't think that he has such an adept command of space and time in that, like, he does pluck progeny out of that thing, but he just happens to see that happening and goes, oh, okay, well, I'll grab that.
Right.
Like, that is somewhat of a coincidence in his favor.
Sure.
Like,
is there such a coincidence? Singular entities, Y/N.
Right.
But regardless, the heroes are aware that sure, when Oblivion is confident and when Oblivion's like beginning this assault on Earth, they can do whatever they want because A, they're losing, and B, Oblivion doesn't really care about the micro scale. Oblivion's working on a much bigger scale than that.
Yeah.
Once the fight goes down to the micro scale, they're like, shoot, we cannot have Oblivion using everything Oblivion's got against us.
Yeah.
That's not going to work. So we have to move him somewhere else. We have to isolate him. Like that's all taken into consideration.
Yeah. Number 3. This one pertains to the chutzpah of Voss. Reineck took such careful lengths to send cryptic messages to the heroes for them to decode for the coming battle with the greatest foe of all, but then, as if giving up on all pretense and covertness, he speaks to them in plain English from that crater in the ARG, then goes one step further and simply hashes out a secret play with Baron Blade. Why oh why wasn't Oblivion able to get wise to his game? Why even recruit someone so untrustworthy? Had Oblivion been able to see any of these not very subtle messages or not freed Voss from his Earth-space prison in the first place, Oblivion might have succeeded.
It's true. If Oblivion weren't so arrogant as to believe that Oblivion knew everything that was happening, Oblivion might have succeeded.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Like, Oblivion should have been paying more attention. Oblivion probably shouldn't have recruited Voss.
Right.
That's true.
But we also, I think we answered that in the Oblivion follow-up maybe.
Yeah.
That he kind of just goes, I'm going to make this person a scion,
Right.
and they're going to do my bidding.
I'm going to let them loose.
I'm not going to micromanage everything they do. Who has time for that?
That defeats the purpose of having minions.
Right.
And Oblivion has been around for so long to believe that nothing else is at its level.
He's sort of post-trust.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't need to trust people because
what are they going to do against him?
Right.
So like, oh, sure, Voss is probably doing some stuff that I don't really know what's going on. Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
It's not going to be a problem.
Now, to be clear, I'm glad that Oblivion lost. I'm not an Oblivion sympathizer. I just want to think of our victory over him as the greatest ever against truly the greatest foe ever. Thanks for answering my questions about the true power of Oblivion. Yours truly, throughout time and space, Chili Steak.
Well, thank you for your letter, Chili Steak.
I do think that it is like the biggest battle ever, and he is the greatest foe ever.
Right.
Like, so you can rest soundly in your confidence that you have accomplished something great.
Yes, absolutely. All right, I've got a letter, a quick one here from the Lonely Sand Person who writes, Whoa, hold your horses, schmanthas. In editor's note number 23, you said that Setback created the Miststorm timeline, but I thought that that the Miststorm timeline was the original one where he didn't fix Chrono Ranger in Rook City. Didn't his actions create the lighter Sentinel Comics timeline?
Potato. That's
You just said the same word twice.
what? No, that's the saying.
Potato?
Yeah.
No.
You say potato, I say potato. You say tomato, I say tomato.
Potato.
Potato.
Tomato.
Tomato.
Let's
call the whole thing off. That's how it goes.
Are you sure that they're not saying it two different ways and you're just hearing it the same way?
No, it's just potato.
Potato?
I'm pretty sure.
All right, I don't have any reason to not trust you on this one.
90% sure.
Yeah, okay. Canon.
98% sure.
Yeah, great. So, yes, technically, Setback created the essentially Universe 1 Sentinel Comics universe, except that that's already the, like, quote-unquote main timeline.
Yeah.
So, Setback created the opportunity to have this other branching off timeline that is where the through line of action is, but it doesn't follow the Oblivion fight. And whereas Oblivion is not the protagonist, he is the main character of the Oblivion story.
Yeah.
Or maybe Voss is.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Setback's actions create the split in those timelines. Is probably the most accurate way to say it.
I mean, maybe he created both or neither.
Neither.
Yeah.
Tomato.
Tomato. Potato. I have a letter from Cantrip. Greetings once more, Christopher and Adam. I'm back with another question here in the aftermath of Oblivion. Though I have to apologize, my question isn't so much about Oblivion as it is about what came after him. Also, it's a bit of a downer, admittedly. I idolize Night Mist a great deal. It honestly isn't an exaggeration to say she's a big part of the reason I became a hero in the first place, and I will always be a bit sad about the fact that I never actually got to meet her. So many great heroes were lost when we fought Oblivion, Ra, the Scholar, Akash-3, and so many others. Now, what I'm getting at is, what were their funerals like? We know about Luminary's false funeral, but each of these four were established characters in their own right, and I don't think that the writers would only write about the funeral of Baron Blade and ignore the many others who perished fighting reality's greatest foe. Were they all covered in one issue, or were the events split up into their own books? Who came to mourn them? Thank you so much for telling these stories. Oblivion has been one giant emotional roller coaster, and I appreciate this amazing story you've told. Sincerely, Cantrip.
So yeah, there's definitely memorial type events that happened in Sentinel Comics for Night Mist, for Ra, for the Scholar, for
There's like an
Akash-3.
Oblivion Aftermath one shot,
Right.
that kind of ties everything up.
But then there's also like the various other books that are happening, and there's because like Akash-3 doesn't have a funeral.
Right.
Argent Adept and Naturalist like go hang out with the tree.
Yeah.
But there's not really a funeral for Akash-3. Scholar doesn't have a funeral.
No. Guys does his own memorial on the houseboat.
Right, there's a shot of guys on the houseboat, and he like gets out a 6-pack from the fridge, and he opens a beer, and he's like getting ready to pour it over the side of the boat. And as he's about to pour it, he's like, "Wait a minute, no, hold on. You wouldn't want me to waste this." And he drinks it.
Yeah.
But like that's like, who else does the Scholar have? There's a lot of heroes that the Scholar has been a mentor to and that has been part of their lives, but none of them like even know to have a funeral, a memorial for him.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
the Scholar pops in and out of
in space.
Well, he does that so often, but the Scholar
Yeah.
just like disappears. Like it's people aren't really aware if Scholar is alive or not at any given point in time.
Right.
And so it's just guys with his guilt, his survivor's guilt, that he's got in the aftermath there.
Yeah.
Ra has some notable moments there just from other heroes, because Ra's been around forever and ever and ever. I mean, so has Scholar, but Scholar hasn't been present in all that time, whereas Ra really has. And so there's
well, and they're all given statues in
that's true.
Freedom Plaza.
Yeah, Freedom Plaza has that big memorial section.
Yeah.
So, yep. All right. All right, I have a question from One Time Question Man. We've gotten many questions before in the past from One Time Question Man. I think this is
really?
easily the... No, I'm kidding.
Oh.
I love you just body.
You've just been
cool.
not showing them to me. Yeah.
Well, hello, creators of comic books. Here lie my first and last question. So you said that Voss cut his timeline from the others, resulting in the fact that guys can't see other timelines anymore, and so he can't see the one where comics are made, and it makes him lose his ability to break the fourth wall. But in that case, shouldn't the readers of Sentinel Comics be cut from Voss' timeline too? And that would mean that the comics from that timeline can't be read or written. So how is that still possible? Or am I misunderstanding something? Thanks for this podcast and for this multiverse. I cannot wait to rename myself in the objective of asking more questions.
Yeah, so
That's what happens.
so we're done.
There are no more comics.
Yeah, pack it up.
You can't do this podcast anymore.
Yeah.
Once you can't see that timeline, the RPG is canceled. Once you can't see that timeline, everything's is over. It's not a thing you can deal with. Adam's gone, I guess. All right, well, see y'all later.
Okay. All right. So
Anyway,
yeah, we wanted to start a new universe anyway, so we're switching.
Everything's
flipping
new.
the tables.
Hello, I'm Adam.
And I'm Christopher.
Hey, how you doing today?
I'm really good.
Yeah, I'm sad.
I'm really excited about all the stuff. I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna write things.
Yeah,
I'm really.
my life is really good, but I'm sad about
Sorry,
it
you
all
have
the
to drink
time.
this.
Give me that coffee. I really like coffee, but I'm going to complain about how hot it is.
I'm really over the top.
Thank you.
There you go.
I mean, that's great.
Woo! Woo! I'm wacky. Okay, let's do it. Oh God! All right. That's a visual joke.
Yeah, Trevor, I think that's probably not worth leaving in the episode because no one's going to get it. Like, I don't know. You do you, Trevor.
Yeah.
If you want to make a clip of just that video, I can put it in the show notes. I don't care.
Hey, so let's
watch the video.
Hey, Discord, if you have any follow-up questions about Oblivion, get them in there right now.
Oh yeah, that's the end of the Oblivion questions.
Yeah.
But
we just had to do a big gag about that. But let's answer this up real quick.
Oh,
Because we just made a big joke and didn't answer it.
So, right. No, so when the timelines are cut off and the singular entities can no longer see this one reality, and because Voss used up most of Oblivion's power to isolate this one reality, okay, great, cool, sure. Comics are still being made because I'm going to regret saying this.
Oh, boy.
The ability for the metaverse to see into any part of the multiverse surpasses the abilities of singular entities.
Yeah, I don't. Boy.
That is true, though.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Readers of Sentinel Comics have more remote viewing power than singular entities
That's true.
do.
That's true. In that
they have no ability to affect
the
what's going on.
Okay. The metaverse is fictitiously real, whereas everything else is fictitiously fictitious.
Right. And then our reality,
that reality.
where we are,
Right.
we can see, we have even more power than that because we can see, so you listeners of the Letters page, readers of any of the Sentinel Comics stuff that we've made in this reality, you have more power than even the metaverse, because you can see into the metaverse in that way, and even have some limited ability to manipulate it based on things like Letters page questions, the stuff we're doing with the Kickstarter, and things like that.
Yeah.
The metaverse has a similar level of control over the world of Sentinel Comics, the multiverse, in that the metaverse, the viewers and readers in the metaverse can see and view and minorly manipulate at the most, but then there are people within the metaverse that have complete control over the Sentinel Comics, over a multiverse from their point of view, except that they are also a level of fiction that we control completely.
Right.
And so
we control them.
Yes.
They who control
the multiverse.
Everything else,
we don't
including
control the
singular
multiverse.
entities.
We do not control the multiverse.
No, we
control those
use
who
our
control
puppets.
the multiverse. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Our tendrils extend metaphysically. Let's look at the Discord.
All right. I have a question here from Acrophobia, who writes, "What gave you the idea for Oblivion?" Boy. So, like, certainly things like Onslaught from Marvel and other like world-ending entities.
Yeah.
Onslaught's not even a really great example.
No, like Galactus a little bit.
Yeah,
but
but like Galactus, we looked at all those things. And we're like, their scale is so small.
Yeah, like there's a lot of big things like that, like Galactus, Anti-Monitor.
Yeah, Anti-Monitor is probably a really good example. But it was also, okay, sure, you're going to have stories like that in comics. So
it's going to be a big
what
thing.
inspired us to create Oblivion? Comics. Comic books. Superhero comic books inspired us to do that. Just like it's the same thing that inspired us to create all these things. We're like, oh, if we're doing this, if we're creating this multiverse with all these stories and all these heroes and all these villains, it's surely leading somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Where would a thing like this lead? Well, in comics, it would be leading to some sort of giant extinction event sort of thing.
There would be something.
Right.
There'd be something big. And
so
the only
what would
thing
that thing be?
The only thing we hadn't really done at that point is a giant cosmic entity that's all powerful.
Especially one that was like behind a lot of things, and that since we had introduced this concept of the multiverse from the very beginning, saying, oh, the multiverse is being threatened here.
Mm-hmm.
Not just one part of it, but like all of it. So yeah.
Brian asks, why make Voss the main actor in the home stretch instead of the heroes the players can play as, or the big guy in the box himself? So, yeah, okay. I think that is. I don't think that Voss is the main actor.
Right. No, Voss is not the main actor. The heroes are. The heroes definitely are. They're the ones that save the day. They're the ones that do all the things.
Voss is the main villain.
Yeah. It's a bait and switch villain sort of situation where you've got Oblivion, and then it switches down to Voss, and really it's the heroes who save the day, but fighting against Voss.
Right, and that was something we just thought would be really neat. Is if we go, you fully have to fight this giant cosmic entity, but then it boils down to an old familiar threat with an insurmountable power.
Taffy Man writes, let's see. It's written as the irreplaceable Taffy Man, but let me see what I can do here. I've done Tenacious. I like alliteration here.
I know. My favorite's still the affable Taffy Man.
That's a good one.
It's really good.
An internal alliteration that I really like. Yeah. But we try to give him a new one every time. You know what? I'm going to make... This is the edgy Taffy Man from some darker, the Extremiverse or something. The Tattooed Taffy Man writes, given how the ending of Oblivion was staged, was it meant to give a strong following to the new heroes such as Tempest, Legacy, previously Young Legacy, Skyscraper, and others outside the Freedom Five? So I wouldn't call any of those new characters.
Yeah, they've all been around for a long time.
Legacy taking on a new role is certainly part of it, where we're trying to get some focus there.
It is meant kind of to set the stage for what goes on in the RPG, but like none of the players in the RPG, in Sentinel Comics timeline, are absent, really, unless they died. Right.
So the big thing with the Oblivion is it's meant to take any of the characters that were in any way on the sidelines and be like, no, all of these characters are up front and center in this, and also this provides an impetus for any sort of changes we want to make to these characters, any direction we take these characters, any other thing we're going to do. People say, oh, why is this character doing this like radically different thing that they were doing a few months ago? Mm-hmm. Oblivion.
Yeah.
The Oblivion event provides for that. What do you want to read?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna read Fry Guy here. Yeah,
Sure.
This is a question from Fry Guy. Can the Sentinel Comics universe have splits in the timeline and thus create parallel universes that are cut off from everything else? I think that I think that the short answer to that is no.
Yeah.
That like
in as much as our own reality can, which is to say, it's unknown.
Right.
People theorize that is happening, but also there is not necessarily evidence of it. So,
but it's also locked down. There's no external influences.
If there were any universes that split off of the Sentinel Comics Universe 1 timeline, then we would not see them. Mm-hmm. They would not be accessible or knowable.
They would also have shields around them, basically.
Maybe. I
don't know.
It is irrelevant because
it doesn't ever come up. It will never come up.
For all extents and purposes, they don't exist.
Yeah.
So like, yeah. Quasi Quirky writes, anything super interesting going on in other places of the universe during the Oblivion event? Sure, yeah. Like we talked about the fact, I think a bit in those episodes, that there are more signs of Oblivion and they're all over the place and they're doing things. But the big fight, the front lines of this big fight ends up here on Earth because that's where Oblivion is receiving the most pushback against the changes that he's trying to enact.
Yeah.
All right.
Twitson, I like your question. It is tangential though, so we're not going to read it here.
Yeah. That's a good question for when we talk about Miststorm stuff, Vertex stuff.
Yeah, I think that's good. We can get back to these.
Who knows it? Real quick, read Sonvar's question from 1150.
Oh, okay, there it is. Sonvar, Hound Lord of Power, writes, what did other universes see or notice upon the defeat of Oblivion? I know Oblivion wasn't destroyed there, but I have to imagine his destruction caused ripples or some other effect on those other universes. Some sign to those that did return to their worlds to know that Oblivion is gone.
So it's an interesting thing because if you think about the destruction of Oblivion, Oblivion's been going to various different realities across this fight, but mostly doing it in the quote unquote one reality. And then in that moment of destruction, first he's trapped momentarily. It's not going to last for a long time, but he's trapped momentarily on Insula Primalis in this fight. And then when he's destroyed, his power doesn't go anywhere.
It's drained.
It's immediately drained. Like if that power had then been released out into the multiverse, there'd be a wave. But instead it's drained into a person.
So I don't think that other universes have any indication.
And then almost immediately, that universe is cut off from everything else. Boss.
The only indication that they might have is that like any mist portals or rifts or anything like that seal shut. But like if you were just a citizen and one moment you see like chaos everywhere and it
goes away, you're like, oh, it's good, it's solved.
Right.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I think a lot of those universes don't have a lot of closure on this.
Right. They've lost heroes or gained new people or strange things have happened, and then it's just gone.
Yeah.
And then final question about Oblivion here for today. Repo Warrior writes, how do the mechanics of being one big final fight fit into a game, since it only has one true canon fight with a singular entity? All right, and I think we talked about this in the Oblivion episodes.
I think a little bit.
Or maybe the wrap-up, the editor's note just past that we've always said that, every fight is canon, and really to say every fight is canon with Oblivion is difficult because, like, there is a way that it goes.
Yeah.
But that's the way that it goes in our world of Sentinel Comics, like, play it at your own home table.
Right.
Once we're moving into these stories going forward where you have as much control of what you're doing in your games, you have to have a certain willingness to say, okay, like, we're going to do what we want with this. It might differ from the way things worked in that story, but it's still legit.
And from my perspective, if I'm playing multiple games of Oblivion, I go, okay, the ones that I win are the ones that work, and like everything else is also going on at the same time.
And the ones you lose, those are failures.
Yeah,
that's just
lots of people failed during Oblivion.
Fine. Yeah. So hope that helps.
Let's do questions about the animated universe.
We've got a few of those, sure.
Yeah. This first question is from Brian LeWolfhunt.
Ooh.
Dear CNA, I just listened to the episode about the animated TV shows for Prime Wardens and Dark Watch, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, except for Setback's alcoholism, you monsters.
Yeah, that's us.
I have some questions about the Dark Watch story, though. Did the writers for the Miststorm universe really like the Dark Watch show? I believe the show predates Oblivion, so Pinion in the comics was not a thing at that point. Also, the series ends with the operative taking over the organization, a plotline in the Miststorm universe. Did this show influence the Miststorm writers when they were making it? Why did the show create Pinion? Why not name her Harpy like she was in the comics at the time? Yeah, I think it absolutely did influence Vertex.
But the trick is that it's a chicken and the egg situation, in that that Dark Watch animated universe, yes, those are stories that are happening there, but they're heavily inspired by the type of storytelling that was done in the early 80s with all of the gritty, dark stuff that was going on in the twice a month mystery comics. That's right where those sorts of that animated show is coming right out of that tradition. And the writers of Vertex are those writers that were writing in that time, or some of them are at least. And so it's like, yeah, they're like, oh, that one animated universe show did a good job because it told stories like we told in the early 80s.
They weren't telling Dark Watch stories in the early 80s.
No, but they were telling that. I'm not saying stories in terms of these are the things that happened. No. In terms of the style of storytelling about loss and about darkness and about like success with great cost.
But so that you have a situation where it's like, oh, these guys did these grim and gritty stories, and then they made a show that reinterprets more modern characters in that style, and then those creators go, hey, that was a good interpretation based on our style, whether they realize that or not.
Yeah,
I'm sure they did to an extent, so at least some of them, but yeah, so that's
why it worked that way.
Why was she called Pinion?
I mean, so they wanted to do a different name for her, and they're like, this is a cool way to do it in terms of why they did it that way in the animated show.
Yeah, and they also wanted to take her more magic-y. And Harpy is a very bird name.
Yeah, Harpy was the name for the character right up through the Oblivion event, and then after the Oblivion event, she's called Pinion.
Yeah,
in any of the places she shows up. So the readers of Sentinel Comics, by the time the Vertex universe comes out, because the Vertex universe doesn't start until years after Oblivion. So by the time the Vertex universe starts, the Vertex stories start, she's already been being called Pinion in the Sentinel Comics universe for a long time.
But she was Pinion in the show before.
That was the first place she was ever Pinion, yes.
Yeah. In the comics, Eduardo Lopez was dead way before the formation of Dark Watch, but he survives well into this show. Since Fixer's death happens at the end of the Dark Watch show, that means that Lopez survived Spite's off-screen onslaught in the Sentinel Comics animated universe. Was Sarah killed alone in this version of events, or was she killed with another character? Was this event explored in a spin-off comic?
Nope, that's not the same Eduardo Lopez.
No.
This is a situation...
Well, and that whole Spite story hasn't happened.
Right.
In this universe.
In the Sentinel Comics animated universe, the writers were like, oh, we have this character, and he's going to be like an important side character. Let's give him a name. They're like, oh, let's name him Eduardo Lopez. That's like a minor side character that was important in Wraith stories 20 years ago. And and we can name this character Eduardo Lopez, not to say this is the same guy, but to say this is a nod to a character that's been around, and we're not going to retell that story or anything, but we're saying, look, here's this important side character.
But the events of Sentinel Comics haven't happened in the animated universe. The only thing that's happened in the animated universe is what has happened in the animated universe.
Right.
So I think that a lot of people fall into that trap sometimes with like watching a TV show and going, oh, well, but that contradicts what the comics did.
It's like, that's fine. Those are different worlds, they're different stories. Yeah, they're using similar characters, but like these are a lot like mythology. If you look at any Greek mythology or Norse mythology, where you have these characters and people tell stories with these characters, and they don't. That each story is kind of unto itself, where it builds on the archetype of the stories that have been told before it, but doesn't necessarily have to one-to-one come from that story.
Yeah. The Freedom 5 show had differences but had the same basic events. The Prime Wardens show faithfully adapted comic events for the most part. The Dark Watch show, however, took a lot of creative liberties with the comics, up to and including the death of the chairman, which never happened in the comics. Did the liberties in the Dark Watch show ever cause continuity problems in the other two shows?
So not so much because the Dark Watch show was so disconnected and on such a smaller scale than everything else. There was the one continuity problem that happened between the Primordial show and the Freedom 5 show with whether or not the Freedom 5 was actually on Earth at a time.
They're like, they're robots.
Right. But the Dark Watch show, because it just doesn't really touch on what's going on in the rest of the SCAU, it's, it doesn't come up.
Yeah. Brian finishes by saying, I would love to hear more from the animated series stories. They're close enough to the comics to be familiar, but different enough that it doesn't always tread the same ground. I like that. Have a lovely day, guys. Brian.
Thank you. That's the reason that we really like it, too, is we're like, we can tell kind of like new stories for these characters.
Yeah.
I also like that the reference here is like, they're close enough to the comics to be familiar, which implies a level of familiarity with the comics, which also don't exist.
Right.
Just lies upon lies.
What I like about the animated ones in particular, though, is that they are... It gives the opportunity to tell a more direct, abbreviated version of things. Yeah. So that, like... that's kind of what I like about animated series in general. That's not burdened by continuity.
Right. I've got a letter from Irelan, who writes, Dear Adam and Christopher, after listening to the Sentinels of the Multiverse Animated Universe Part 2 podcast, that was all abbreviated, SOTMAUP-2PT2 podcast, I had a quick question about Setback. Just how much does his unluck play into his day-to-day life? How did his animated universe appearance differ from his comic appearance in regard to showing how unlucky he was? So with the comics, it's a little bit, for the most part, depends on the writing. I mean, there's certain Dark Watch stories where it's played much more like grave, but it's pretty slapstick for him in the comics.
It's a bit goofy for a real long time.
Whereas in the animated universe, it's much more like this guy cannot catch a break.
Yeah,
like everything is gonna turn the wrong way for him.
Like I do think that Setback's stories, I quote, sober up over time.
Yeah,
like they're a little bit, they are less slapstick in the like by far in the 90s than they are. I mean, in the 2010s than they are in the 90s.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
But in terms of the show, it's grimdark all the time. So like you don't have that like falling into You know, he's not stepping on the people's gear.
The funniest moment that happens with that is the goose.
Yeah,
when they find the Matrix and there's all the birds and there's a goose that he runs into. That's the one nod to.
They're like, here's one bit of comic relief in this otherwise incredibly dour show.
Also, I didn't grow up with comics and instead watched the Schmarvel animated shows of the late 90s, early aughts. So this episode was definitely a big slice of nostalgia for me. I also think how Setback was portrayed in the animated universe fits more with how I picture him, especially in his Dark Watch days. The metaverse may have whinged about it, but after so much going wrong, even the most optimistic man will get worn down. Then again, I did just re-listen to the Extremiverse issue, so I might be slightly biased towards the edginess of the animated Setback.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's cool.
We get that. I get that. The thing is, I really like Setback when he's dark and grim and dour, but I also like him when he's goofy and bright and upbeat and slapstick.
And I kind of like right in the middle of that.
I like, and I mean, and I like in the middle of that too. But I like all of the options. Like they're different flavors for different seasons.
Yeah. Discord. Do you have any questions about the animated universe?
Well, too bad.
Get those in now.
Because we're moving on. People are typing. Do you want to refill your coffee?
No, I'm good.
You're good?
I'm good. Yeah. I've just been
here?
sipping.
Good.
It keeps it very hot.
I'm making a note to tell Trevor that we switched microphones for a little bit halfway through.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's going to mess everything up.
Yeah. I have a question here from the Obfuscator.
Do it.
From the Obfuscator, the world's greatest hero, man of 1,000 powers, etc. It has recently come to my attention that I, the magnanimous man of 1,000 powers, have recently been snubbed from the animated Dark Watch stories. In that same vein, I have to ask, were there any other stories or characters the writers for the series were denied, including due to any number of reasons? So yeah, were there any characters that they couldn't use in the series?
Couldn't use is interesting. They had a pretty good like hold onto their characters, but there's certain things that they didn't have.
They didn't have like legal reasons they couldn't use a character,
right?
But they had access to the entire Sentinel Comics library in terms of that. I think between showrunners there was probably some negotiation of
right. Like this is going to go to that show, this is going to go to this one.
Right.
I'm trying to think. It's like I was going to say so in what we've talked about so far, the stuff you've heard about is the characters that they've had. Like the shows and movies continue going for a while, and so they add a lot more things. So they say, well, like, oh, we haven't seen Yancey Videro in the Enclave of the Endlings, but that's definitely going to show up in a future like Prime Warden season, or actually probably they would do a more space type thing. So there's a lot of things that have not yet shown up in what we've talked about, but that doesn't mean they're off the table. I'm trying to think of anything that wouldn't be Spite, maybe, but no, actually that's not true.
No, that's not true at all.
So I'm trying to think if there's anything that doesn't make it in, or that couldn't make it in.
There's plenty that doesn't.
Sure, there's plenty that doesn't, but none of it for
because you're talking about 80 years of comic history,
right.
But
I think the vast majority of the main character type stuff that you've seen in the card game is also going to show up in the animated universe.
Yeah,
just
in some way or another.
Right. I've got a question here from Brian who writes, did any of the movies win an Academy Award?
Time will tell on that one. We've only announced a couple of the movies, and none of the ones that you've seen have.
So that's the answer, is that none of the ones yet that we've talked about have.
Right.
Though they've all been very well received by the critics. Even still, they're the first animated movies to be received this well, that are like superhero animated movies that aren't like the classic animated movies.
Yeah.
And so like critics are warming up to the idea of this kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Samvar actually asks a question that goes back to the previous question.
Yeah.
Why was there no Wraith in the Dark Watch animated series? Her background would still have her from Rook City, I'd think. And that is an example of you can't use Wraith in
both
Dark
shows.
Watch.
Yeah.
She's on Freedom 5. She's a much lighter toned character in this. Yeah. You can't use her in your grim dark stuff.
They tried to do a good job of policing to make sure that characters didn't. They did a much better job in the animated show saying, oh, this character's in this roster, and so that's where they stay. They don't move over to this other show. If they were to move over to the other show, it'd be because they'd be leaving one show and going to another one. But the shows are all so different, that'd be very challenging.
Yeah.
Cameos would be one thing. I could see maybe in the future a cameo happening, but Wraith going to Dark Watch is really unlikely. Cameos between Prime Wardens and Freedom 5 happened, but obviously there's a whole movie about that. But the Dark Watch show is almost a different animated universe.
Almost.
Like, they exist in the same universe. It's acknowledged that they do, but they really don't touch. All right, I've got a question here from Pink, who writes, the animated shows were obviously well received. However, I have to ask, Dark Watch was obviously taken to such a darker end. What did groups like Moms Against Drinking think? Comics are supposed to be those lighthearted things and aimed at children. Having something so different people assumed was for kids would be a large problem, I feel, especially an overprotective mom or two.
Yeah, sure. It aired late at night also.
It was intentionally, and it had like a warning time before it started about like, hey, this show isn't for kids.
Right.
It was, and yet there were still people like, this is about superheroes and stuff, and my kids watched it, and now they're having nightmares.
Mm-hmm.
What's the deal, yo?
Yeah.
That's what they said. And we were like, well, I mean, there were the warnings about it, but yeah, there's a lot of groups that didn't like it. But that is the case when you make things. There is going to be some groups of people that don't like the things you make.
Yeah. I have one from Garg. Yeah. Does the Sentinel Comics animated universe forge new territory? For example, is there a Wraith Reborn type of series where a new hero takes up the mantle of the Wraith, or maybe closer to canon, do the Paradigms or Daybreak get their time in the animated spotlight?
So not in the Sentinel Comics animated universe. It's happening in the aughts and the teens. Like that's specifically like the new territory they forged is stuff like the Dark Watch show does. It does things that didn't happen in comics. But most of the stories are either from the pages of Sentinel Comics or inspired by those types of stories, as opposed to going in completely new directions. But there are new things, like Pinion came from there, and as was mentioned in a question earlier, the death of the chairman and things like that. All right. Okay.
I just read those. Do you want to switch these?
Sure.
Okay.
All right,
We'll
so
move on, then.
We've got a couple of questions about Baron Blade that were inspired by the Bearing the Blade episode. Starting with one from Platinum Warlock, who writes, Gendarmes, again, my congratulations on finally making it through Oblivion relatively unscathed. It's been exciting to see how the split universes evolve and change in the wake of the end of the multiverse timeline. However, I have a question in regards to the Bearing of the Blade storyline pertaining to how Ivan emerges from the realm of Discord. In the Bearing the Blade episode, it's noted that he uses the portal, beast, cloak, and goggles to escape, emerging into the throne room of Mordengrad, where he comes into conflict with one of his robotic duplicates. But in the Misinformation episode, it was stated that Ivan emerged through one of her reality warps, whereupon he gave her the dressing down about how far she'd fallen as a villain. While Ivan Ramanat is surely a master of being multiple places at the same time, I find it hard to believe that both reappearances could be true, as Misinformation wouldn't simply be hanging out in the Mordengradian throne room. Which is the accurate return for Baron Blade? And if Bearing the Blade storyline is the more accurate, when did the Ivan/Emilia conversation take place? Cheers, Platinum Warlock.
Well, first of all, yes, the Bearing the Blade is more accurate.
Yeah, is correct. The things that happened in Bearing the Blade are what happened.
Right.
Now, this in which a mistake was made in comics, where the writers that were writing the Misinformation story here were like, oh man, you're going to be for this, we need somebody to come in and like take her from this ridiculous, out there character who's not getting stuff done, can upbraid her in a useful way. Baron Blade's the right guy for this.
Yeah.
Where is he? Oh, he got lost in the realm of Discord. Let's just pull him back. No problem. We'll have her do a you're doing a bad job of stuff. And so they did that story, and then with no acknowledgement of anything else. And then afterwards, there was like this whole continuity editor meeting where it was like, okay, well, so
you really screwed up everything that we had planned with that.
You shouldn't have done that. That wasn't supposed to happen. That's okay. We're just going to ignore it. Baron Blade's not going to do any other thing until we get to the Bearing the Blade story. And then one of the like many little scenes that we see in the Bearing the Blade story is a moment in which he he's talking to essentially a ghost of Emilia Twain, because he's seeing all those ghosts when he's in the realm of Discord, and he's interacting with them, and he's talking to a ghost of Emilia Twain and be like, you used to really be something, you used to be a great threat to Freedom 5, and now you're this nonsense person. And the interaction that he's having with her, he thinks he's having with like a ghost of her, whereas she's experiencing it on the other side of reality because her powers warp reality.
There's actually a portal and a manifestation of him because of her powers.
Right. And so that is the way that it is explained about, okay, that's not actually what happened, but it is what happened. So here's how it happened. And it was because we had the unreliable narrator of Misinformation, who's a crazy person at this point in time. But what actually happened in Bearing the Blade is the way that he made it back into reality. So that is the discrepancy there. Good looking out, Platinum Warlock.
I have a question from Fearlord. Greetings, Christopher and Adam. I have a question about Baron Blade and the brief period of time he goes by Luminary. Why does he change his name for the Oblivion event? It seems clear from the beginning he's more of an ally of convenience rather than having some heroic conversion. Why adopt the new persona? It seems like the concept of Baron Blade is very much a big part of how he sees himself. It doesn't seem like he views Baron Blade as a villain and Luminary as a hero. He's always acted in the way that's best for himself and his own people. So why wasn't...
Just drop the wasn't.
Oh, so why the change to Luminary? Why wasn't this just another chapter in the story of Baron Blade? Thanks for your time, Fearlord.
So, this is an example of Baron Blade. Yeah, you're right. Baron Blade sees himself as a hero to his people, as a ruler who is doing what he must. But he's not an idiot. For all of the times you might think he might be, he is aware of how the heroes see him. And this thing that he's doing with Luminary is an elaborate triple cross thing he's setting up. So he goes to them in a guise that they would see as a change.
Yeah.
it's not for him. He doesn't take the Luminary for himself, the name Luminary for himself. He takes the name Luminary for them. He goes to them, he's like, I'm not Baron Blade anymore. I'm Luminary. And they're like, oh, we don't trust you. He's like, that's fair, but here's all the ways in which Luminary is different from Baron Blade.
Yeah.
And that change, it makes sense both to the other heroes in the world, but more importantly, to the readers of Sentinel Comics.
Yeah.
So that's who it's for.
I mean, and it makes enough sense to everybody in the world that they give him a hero's funeral.
Yep.
So,
well, he acted heroically in his final moments.
Yeah.
Even if it was also selfishly.
Yeah.
All right, we've got a couple of questions here about incapacitation. Actually, before we go into that, a couple of people are typing. I want to see if they're typing Baron Blade stuff. And then after the Baron Blade stuff, we'll have incapacitation stuff, just so y'all know. So much typing. He is all about branding. That is true. Baron Blade is way into branding. He's good at it.
Yes.
He's good at it. Now here we go. I'll do this one, then we'll be back on track.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, here we go. Brian asks a self-indulgent question. If there was ever a hero who claimed to be a god or goddess of the moon, would this character automatically draw the attention of Baron Blade because of his lunar obsession? I mean, I would say yes, but not in the like, I must defeat them, but like, oh, you're
do you have some sort of power over the moon that I could exploit?
Right, like he'd be like, he's like, oh, another hero, interesting, very well, but the moon, you say, interesting.
You could pull it into the earth without even a device.
Yeah. So no, he would see them as a thing that he'd be interested in manipulating. Like Frag Guy says, Blade just throws them at enemies. He takes the goddess of the moon character and throws it at enemies. Like, ha ha!
It's got like a person cannon.
No.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to go on to questions about incapacitation. So if you have any follow-up incapacitation questions, people in the Discord,
get them
write them in now, although we might cover them right now.
We might. This first question is from Jake. Hello.
Hold on, let's do an actual intro to the section for audio, because a lot of the stuff we've been saying is just for the video and it's going to get cut out.
These are questions about incapacitation.
A follow-up to the art and mechanics of incapacitation episode.
Yeah. This first question is from Jake. Hello, CNA. I was just catching up in the last few episodes, and at the end of the incapacitation episode, I realized you guys forgot a few people. First, the operative, not the Villains of the Multiverse operative, but the original operative. It's been a while since that episode, so maybe you mentioned those things then, but I can't remember.
So the operative, her incapacitation.
She's got a bunch of arrows in her.
Yeah, we talked about the story of that incapacitation. Whoa. Yeah. And then once she's down, you can go after the chairman more easily, and also she is like increasing damage and stuff, because without her there, the organization's running a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's the chairman episode we talk about that story in.
Yeah, I think it's the chairman. Because I know I think it's her episode.
Oh,
I think it's actually her, because we much later than all the other ones did her episode.
We did give her,
and we tell her the death of because is it a Zhulong? We didn't do a Zhulong episode though, right? I don't think so.
I think that
no, because we did an environment episode in which we talked about the Temple of Zhulong. I'm pretty sure it's her episode that we covered it.
Yeah,
pretty sure.
Go
listen back to all the episodes.
Just listen to every episode,
because you should listen to all the episodes again to make your nominations.
Yeah.
So just start over.
You definitely have 200 hours
spare
between
time.
now and
right
the time to. Yeah. Additionally, 2nd through 10th, the Ennead. Their art doesn't really need to be explained, but what do their incapped abilities represent? Thanks, Jake.
I refuse to answer this part of the question. Instead, I will immediately go on and read the next question from Jim. Jim M., a.k.a. OG Seamus, writes, Greetings, Christopher and Adam. I just finished listening to the Incapped episode, and I loved hearing the explanation for the art and the abilities. However, I unfortunately need to point out that you are wrong about you covering all the cards with incapacitated abilities, sirs. It doesn't say sirs, but
for tone,
I felt inspired.
That's a creative.
I know. I am certain that it's not written with this nasty tone, but I'm into it now. I know you think you got them all, but you missed 9 cards. I'm of course talking about the Ennead. They are my favorite villain to fight, mostly on advance, and that's why I noticed their absence in your list.
Oh, I don't hear them as a favorite a lot.
They're good though. They're a fun fight.
Yeah, I like them.
I was looking forward to your discussion and explanation for the incapped abilities that each member has. With each member's incapacitated side being just a symbol, I understand the art, but please explain the reasoning behind each Ennead member's incapacitated ability. To be helpful, I have listed them all below.
Oh boy.
Atum, at the start of the villain turn, shuffle the villain trash into the villain deck. So Atum is kind of like the leader of them, and without the leader, their actions are a little bit more unhinged or a little bit more erratic. They're a little bit less focused, and so they could do anything, which is why that's happening there. So that's like thematically why that's happening. Mechanically, it's because once one of them has gone down, you might have gone through enough of the deck that you're going to want to see some variety, and you also want to not be able to control them. It prevents deck stacking things from being very powerful because they shuffled their deck at the start of their turn. Geb, at the start of the villain turn, each player puts the top card of their hero deck on the bottom of their hero deck, and that's just him doing earthquake stuff. It's like, oh no, my resources.
The fissures are still there, and things are falling down there.
Yeah. Do you want to read the card, and then I'll say the thing? That way, yeah.
Isis, at the start of the villain turn, discard the top H cards of each hero deck.
Magic.
Yeah.
She's doing the dark magic.
Magic play.
Right.
Yeah. Nephthys, at the start of the villain turn, each villain target regains 1 hit point.
Oh man! Well, Nephthys is in control of a lot of like death and funerary stuff.
Yeah.
So when she's down, she's outputting that sort of energy.
Newt, at the start of the villain turn,
These are all start of the villain turn spoilers.
Oh yes, shuffle the environment trash into the environment deck.
I mean, Newt is the sky, is controlling the environment, so she is. It's similar to Atum's.
In that, like, there's chaos. Once,
right.
Yeah. When she's down. Yeah. Osiris, destroy the target with the lowest HP other than a character card. He's a death god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So he's visiting that on others.
Yeah. Set, at the start of the villain turn, play the top cards of each deck in turn order, starting with the villain deck.
So much power, but also chaotic power. This is actually an effect that's pretty good for you potentially, but it can also accelerating the villain deck is tricky because it gets more Ennead out more faster.
Yeah. So, Shu, play the top card of the environment deck. Speeds things up.
Right. Yeah. Because the wind
speeds up the place. Yeah.
The world.
Tefnut. Each player discards 1 card.
There you go, because Tefnut is the river, and so.
Oh, you lost it in the water.
Yep, that's fine.
I lost my cards; they're all wet.
No, this card is damp. It's no good anymore.
I can't use it. It's a marked card.
Yep. Man. Okay. I always look forward to the new episodes. I love the card game so much. I've been in since the first core set, and I've been enjoying everything from you guys. Looking forward to fighting villains in new ways from Greater Than Games. You guys are awesome. Jim M.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks, OG Seamus. I got a letter from Liz C. Hello, Intrepid Creators. I was wondering if, as a follow-up to the incapacitation episode, I could ask some questions about the Incap artwork already in the I could ask some questions about the Incap artwork in the digital version specifically. Since most of them are pretty standard, hero damaged or going off the rails in a predictable way deals, but there were a couple I've always been a little curious about. What's going on with Virtuoso of the Void Argent and that weird portal? He's getting like sucked into a green portal.
Yeah, the standard form of Argent Adept, his incapacitated digital form, is getting drawn into a portal to another dimension.
Oh no!
And that's what's happening. Yeah. He's getting drawn into a portal to another dimension.
Yeah,
it's bad. It's not the Void. That's not what the Void looks like.
No, it's just like some weird portal. No, I don't think any of them are really specific things.
Right, because they need to be general enough to work.
Yeah.
In a game.
Yeah. Is there a reason that Chrono Ranger ends up shirtless other than because Adam? Ha 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 ha.
That's the reason. Adam chooses what he wants to draw.
I do choose
in those incaps, and so he looks at that and he goes, "You know what, Chrono Ranger? What if you didn't have a shirt?"
Yeah. What if that happened? Hey, buddy. No.
Yes.
Because battle damage, first of all, but also I wanted to really be able to see the scars in the arm, and that's really why.
And the rest of his naked torso.
Not because I'm thirsty.
Well,
also not a question, but I wanted to say I still love how hilariously Edgelord / Anne Rice DC Argent
Dark Conductor.
Oh, Dark Conductor Argent's or digital incap is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
He's got ridiculous. All right. So we got a couple of questions from the Discord about incapacitated stuff before we go on to the final section that I like to call Other Questions. So first, I've got a question from Brian. who writes a question that came from the InCap episode, but is not about incapacitated stuff. Adam kept calling the huge form of skyscraper giant form, which made me wonder why go with huge form instead of giant form. A certain role-playing games size category makes me feel like giant is more apt.
Because that's the word we chose.
We're like, huge or giant. We didn't want her. It's not that she is a giant.
No.
It's that she's way bigger than a person should be.
She's huge. Yeah.
Right.
I say giant form just because I do. I mean, you can
and
say
also
that.
like giant size X-Men and Giant Man and things like that. Like giant is a word in comics a lot, and we were like, you know what? Let's specifically do another one. But saying that she's giant or huge or even real big form or
yeah. It also
colossal.
doesn't hurt that it's the least number of characters.
That is also true.
For card
not that giant is too long for card text purposes,
right?
But huge is shorter.
Yeah. Twitson says death of the operative is definitely in the chairman episode.
That's good.
So thanks.
That's
thanks
helpful.
for that.
Thank you for doing that research.
Yes.
All right. Okay, and then the rest of the comments are about Adam and his love of Chrono Ranger.
Wonderful. I don't know where this came from.
It came from you. It came from you. All right.
Maybe.
No. Definitely. All right, here are the other questions. First, we have a question from Luna, who writes, Dear Christopher and Adam, I absolutely loved your extrasode on casting the voices of Sentinel Comics. Good. I'm glad to hear that. Because I was not sure if anybody would be into us just reading a bunch of names and stuff, but good. But I thought there was one glaring omission. Who voices Yansa Videro, Terminarch of the Endlings? She's a very important character who deserves a talented voice actor. Thanks for the little touches like these and for reading my questions. All right, so Adam, I could say let's talk about this, but Taffy Man, are you still listening, Taffy Man?
Oh, yeah.
Who voices Yansa Videro, Taffy Man? Like, I could come up with some names. And Adam could come up with some names. I could come up with some names that I'd probably be like, have a pretty good shot at it. And Adam would probably have a really good shot at it. But Taffy Man probably already knows. I just gotta say.
I'm gonna think for a
minute.
Well,
until Taffy Man answers, we'll come up with our own answer. In the chat, John Dubois says, "Oh no, Luna, run before Baron Blade throws you at his enemies."
I'm trying to think of. I didn't talk about a butt for hours on end. That never happened. No. Talking about butt for hours?
Well, in total, not in one go.
No.
But if you total the amount of time that you've spent talking about Chrono Ranger's butt, it's definitely over an hour. We're definitely over 2 hours.
Well, only because other people keep bringing it up.
And you seem you could have let it go just now, Adam. But you seem intent on keeping this alive. You didn't have to respond. Didn't have to respond.
They added.
You're right, but you could have just said "aha, yes" and let it go. But instead you keep bringing it up because you want to make sure that you keep talking about that butt.
Judi Dench has been used already.
Yeah, that's true. Not an option.
She was cast. No, that was Brian.
Oh, Taffy Man's gone.
He's gone.
No, he's typing. He's typing. I see that he's typing. Don't eat a snack, Taffy Man.
Oh my God, it better be Taffy.
Don't eat himself. What did I miss? I usually eat a snack. What did I miss?
You didn't even know. Yeah. We asked you to cast Yansa Videro.
No, that's not right. I want somebody with just like a slightly
something kind of a little bit ethereal,
alien,
yeah,
otherworldly on it. Linda Hunt. Oh, Garg.
Linda Hunt.
What's she done? No.
No.
While we're waiting for Taffy Man.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm looking at some other things here, but we already said that one though. Dang it. No, I need somebody else. Pink asks, "What's that artwork above Muerto behind you?" Oh, I like that suggestion. Demi Hero says Tilda Swinton.
Oh,
I like that a bunch.
Yep, there you go. Yeah. Bijou in. Yep, that's
Pink,
the
it's
one.
attached to the wall. I can't take it down because it's actually Velcro to the wall. It's an art of Inductor, who used to be Citizen Sweat.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, Tilda Swinton. Tilda Swinton's real good.
Yeah, I like Tilda Swinton for
Demi Hero, you're the new Taffy Man.
Demi Hero in the clutch.
You now get the name Taffy Man. Taffy Man, you must pick a new name.
Yeah.
Please send over your name and avatar to Demi Hero.
You've abdicated.
Demi Hero now is the owner of
You've been
that.
replaced.
Yeah. Oh, I also like Pink's suggestion of Anjali
Oh yeah.
Himani, your voice is Symmetra in Overwatch. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah, those are both
former
really
Taffy Man.
good. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So that's who. Do we need to re-record that in a way that is better for the episode?
So let's do this.
Yeah.
Trevor, you could probably just cut everything that we talked about to here from when we asked the question until now.
Mm-hmm.
And you could do like a record just like sort of sound and be like, all right, so after much deliberation,
we sent
Adam
that
and
to
I,
the Discord.
yeah, there's a
Went
bunch
back
of
and forth
helpful
on
people
it.
in the Discord. We thought that it was going to be Taffy Man, but instead, credit where credit's due, it was Demi Hero.
Yeah, for the steal.
Yeah, who came up with the casting of Tilda Swinton,
Yeah.
which is perfect. Perfect.
I love Tilda Swinton for that.
Yeah, she's got that kind of not quite right sound.
And aloofness.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
She's perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. But it also can still be
Amazing.
very intense.
Yeah.
It's one of the best castings. So
Yep.
Thank you, Demi Hero. Thank you, Discord. Thank you, Taffy Man. Thank you, everyone. Adam, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christopher.
Let's ask some more
Thanks
questions.
so much. Okay. I have a question from Gloomweaver. This just says it's from Gloomweaver.
Normal stuff.
Yeah. Greetings, puny mortals. It is I, Gloomweaver, here to ask advice on several matters. While I would not seem normal... Nope. I read the next line. Yeah. Well, I would not normally...
Well, I would not seem normal.
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't.
Yeah.
Well, I would not normally ask for advice from lower beings such as yourselves. You seem to be quite knowledgeable and have helped my miserable cult out on normal...
Adam, we've got 2 questions left. You can do this.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Just start it over. Start
Yeah,
over.
All right.
All right, Trevor, rewind it back.
Yeah. Greetings, puny mortals. It is I, Gloomweaver, here to ask advice on several matters. While I would not normally ask for advice from lower beings such as yourselves, you seem to be quite knowledgeable and have helped my miserable cult out on numerous occasions. Despite my many years of living and my vast knowledge, I am only fluent in 2 languages. An ancient eldritch language of black magic no longer spoken anywhere in your universe, and the pitiful language you call English. However, I would like people who do not speak English to know that I am damning them to eternal despair. Thank you.
That's good.
That's very inclusive of you.
Yeah, right.
Well, while looking over your cards, I have discovered 2 mortals going by the names of La Capitan and Ambuscade, who speak Spanish and French respectively. So tell me, do you speak these languages fluently, or do you just use a translator?
So I was excited to get this question because one of my favorite pieces of feedback from La Capitan and La Camadora's deck is when people are like, I wish they'd talk to somebody who spoke Spanish before printing these flavor texts or something, because like they clearly don't work quite right. And it's like, senor.
Yeah, he speaks Spanish.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
So technically Spanish is my first language. I'm definitely better in English now because the 30...
You've spoken for longer.
Yeah, and I just never really use Spanish anymore.
Yeah.
But I definitely checked the Spanish stuff. Like, I wrote it out. I was confident in its correctness. I checked it with my dad, who is way better at Spanish than English.
Yeah.
He's mediocre minus at English.
He's definitely Spanish fluent.
Yes. But anyway, it's like... That's all well and good. And then as for the French, I definitely don't speak French, but one of the writers for the Sentinel Comics role-playing game
is French.
Is French.
Yes.
And so I checked it with him,
Yeah.
and he did a great job. Phil, I call him Phil. Adam calls him Phil, but his name is Philippe Ménard,
Yeah.
and he is very French. And he's where I got the good French names of the cards from, and even some of the sayings that were used.
Yeah, but not our parody accent.
No, we do a good job representing us as being rubes who are
Yes.
not good at those languages. But in truth, we also do our homework. It's just not as funny when we do our homework.
It's not funny to be accurate all the time.
Right.
It's just not. I also have a legal question that was not answered in your legal episode. If members of my cult were tried for bringing me into the world, what would happen? Is magic even acknowledged in any legal court? be it in
Actually,
legal-
so hold on. I'm going to go ahead and cut this part.
Oh, yeah, I feel like we
Because
did answer
just
that.
answered this. I think it was maybe last Editors Note, but maybe it was the
Yeah.
Halloween episode. But we talked about
We
the
did
legality of
answer
that.
that. Right.
So Trevor just cut back to where we answered the question about the translator, and then Adam closed it out.
Yep. Remember, don't turn that frown upside down. Turn it into eldritch power to free me so that I may smite the marketing department of the Cult of Gloom for coming up with this stupid slogan.
All right,
Nice.
and then
Bring it down a little
bring
bit.
it down a lot.
Yeah.
I don't think Adam and I are ready to talk about this, but we should. It is the final question of the episode is from Brian LeWolfhunt, who writes, "Dear CNA, do you have anything you'd like to say about the late and great Stan Lee?" So there's a lot that we could say,
Yeah.
like hundreds of words. I mean, so here's the thing. I think we have said those things. Have you heard of this thing called the Letters page, in which there's definitely over 200 hours of the Letters page?
Yeah,
None of that would exist without Stan Lee.
that's true.
And
That is definitely true.
there's a lot of things. There's a lot of. I was almost going to say some real swear words right here, and I didn't. There's a lot of think pieces that are coming out now with the death of Stan Lee, which if you're just now hearing about this here on the Letters page, sorry, but he did just pass away.
Yeah, earlier this week.
and-
If you're hearing this next week, then it was last week.
Right. But there's a bunch of think pieces coming out where people saying, oh, well, Stan Lee in his life stole this from this person or treated this other writer poorly. And sure, cool. Let's say those things are all true. And they probably are because of the way the industry works. That's not the point.
Right.
Even those things said, Stan Lee is a reason that we're jazzed about comic books. He made comic books accessible and he made them for everybody. And he did a great job with that. And like early on, the sort of creative partnership that Stan Lee had is very similar to what Adam and I do. Not in terms of any of the negative stuff that happened with Stan and Jack.
Right.
But like when the two of them were at their best and at their earliest and that's the thing, the kind of the cautionary tale of how poorly that went over time.
Right.
Is a thing that Adam and I look at a lot of going, this is a lesson in what we've done, not to compare ourselves to them in a favorable way, but to be like, hey, let's keep what's important in mind. And part of that is the stuff we make, and part of that is the friendship that we have with each other.
Yeah.
It was a rough beginning of the week for both of us.
Yeah, it's been a rough week in general for me.
Yeah.
Oh boy. I have a lot of mixed feelings right now about it also because the last year had not been so great for him.
Right.
So there's an element of like, well,
goodness.
at least this is done.
It's like when you have an elderly relative that's in a nursing home who's like being kept alive by a machine and who's struggling, and you knew them as a vibrant
But like
person.
the stuff with all like the elder abuse and stuff going on with it,
It was so
just
hard
like,
to see it happen.
Yeah.
And there's that. Did you see that one interview with him where like it's very clear that his lawyer and there's other relatives in the room that are like saying, "This is what you can say in response to these interview questions, Stan."
Yeah.
And it's like, man, just
Yeah, it's very sad.
Yeah.
And his wife died last year,
Right.
And so like,
of course he didn't have.
It's
long.
been a pretty downward spiral since then.
Yeah.
So there is an element of like if you have a relative that on life support for a really long time and then they're gone,
it's relief in a way, but it's also a good time to think about like.
And also like
that person.
Yeah, I felt like okay. This is something that I went through with my wife also, that like I was like, I feel stupid because I don't even like, I didn't know him, like like he's not someone that's a person I know that died. But he's
a person who's a part of your life.
He is a person.
He's a person who's been a part of our lives since we were really young.
She threw my own words back at me basically because she went through something similar with Anthony Bourdain a few weeks ago.
Oh, sure.
That was big influence in her life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's she was like, don't feel stupid for grieving someone that you idolize. Like, it's
Right.
It's perfectly natural, but
It's the thing we talked about at the start of this episode about sadness not necessarily being a bad thing.
right.
Like, that means that there was something there to be sad about.
Yeah.
Like, that's a great thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know much that I can say that hasn't already been said.
Right.
Except that, like, I don't think there is a bigger influence in my life. I don't think there has ever been a creator that has touched what I do more than Stan. So
Yeah.
that's about it. Rest in peace, sir.
Thank you all for listening. There's another exciting editor's note. Remember to, if you're listening to this episode, this extra episode, nope, none of those things. Editor's note.
Editor's note.
If you're listening to this editor's note as it comes live, in the show notes, I'll have a link to the form for nominations for the awards.
Yeah.
So fill those out. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you're into.
Allow us to self-aggrandize.
Right. And bring you in on it.
Yeah.
And until next time, Excelsior.